So real estate investing. So a lot of people that get into note investing come from real estate investing, and that was me as well. And so, it's kind of your typical real estate investing is either doing like fix and flip, where you buy a house, you do some repairs on it, you fix it up, and then you sell it for a higher value, ideally. And then kind of the other most common way of real estate investing is you buy a house and then you rent it out, and you become a landlord, you have tenants, and you collect that monthly income. So I have done both of those, and as much as I started with flipping houses, and I actually really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Um, it was in a time going back in history, 2005, 2006, when the U.S. and Canadian housing markets were doing really well. I live in Canada, but and my house flipping was in Canada, and yeah, it went really well for a while, and then all of a sudden the market started to turn, and that kind of ended that. Not to say it was impossible, but the margins were not the same. It was much more difficult to get in. It was much more difficult to sell the houses. So there are pitfalls with that, and that was something that I became acquainted with in not such a good way.
All right. So pitfall. What kind of pitfalls?
Well, if you're fixing up a house and then selling it, there are some serious risks there. One of the rules that I had when I was flipping a house was I never wanted to open a wall. So I never wanted to see what was behind the drywall, because if there was a more serious issue, number one, I would have to fix it, and that's more expensive and more difficult to do. Or B, if I didn't, I would at least have to tell the new buyer that that problem existed, and that could influence their decision on buying that house. So that was one of my rules: never open a wall. Anything I did was just purely cosmetic. I mean, I was doing the easiest way that you could do this. I was a young man in my mid 20s, and so that was it was the way I could do it at the time. But you do run some serious risks there. If you end up getting into a house and you find out that there's much bigger repairs that are needed that you hadn't planned for, that can be really serious. Or if there's something about the market turns one way or another, again, that can impact your sale price on the back end, where all of a sudden you thought it was going to sell for X number, and all of a sudden it's not that. It's a much smaller number than you anticipated. So there are some risks there. You can make a lot of money, and like I say, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I like doing some of those kind of repairs that I was doing, but be careful. there there are real risks.
All right, yeah, I can imagine. Like if you don't want to look what is behind the wall, or like you never know. So I never bought a house. I don't
Yeah,
know. So, but I can imagine that there could be potential like leaks inside that you don't know
yeah,
about, stuff like that, or structural damages that you cannot even know about it if you don't look further, right?
right. And there's only so much you can tell before you're buying that house, and then you start getting in, having a closer look, and all of a sudden you find out, oh, there's mold in that
Oh,
area, or the wall has started to degrade because there's a leak in the wall from the rain that's been pounding on it for the last 20 years, or whatever it is. Like there are things that happen to different kinds of structures in different kinds of ways. And like I say, it can just get very expensive very quickly.
hmm. But Nathan, like, isn't isn't that a little bit on you because you bought the house without investigating further?
It's all on you, yes.
Okay.
But again, before I buy a house, there's only so much I can do, and opening a wall is something you don't generally do as you're looking
Yeah,
to buy a
yeah,
house.
yeah.
So if I open up, I take off the drywall beside the bathtub, and I find out, oh shoot, there's been a leak for the last 5 years, and now the wood that's behind there is all rotted out, and that can become a much bigger project, a much bigger expense than you ever anticipated.
Yeah, but maybe you can find like a bag of full of money. Who knows?
Yeah,
I,
that can happen too. Who knows?
um, all right. So real estate investing can be by either flipping. So you buy the house, you renovate it, make it nicer, and
Yeah,
and sell it for a higher price, hopefully.
yeah,
Or you
yeah,
just buy it, you have it in your name, and you rent for other people. So from the but I noticed that you're talking in the past like you used to do those things. So
I did.
you don't do them anymore.
No.
All right.